Perhaps when the Shahed-136 drone was first introduced to the world, no one imagined that the military world would be transformed because of this drone. After the Islamic Republic provided this drone to Russia and they saw its effectiveness on the battlefield, they decided to establish a factory to produce this drone inside Russia. Of course, with a series of new innovations that significantly upgrade this drone. Now we have the Geran-2 drone, a drone that originated from its Iranian roots, the Shahed-136, and has now become one of the most strategic assets of the Russian military. Now, the Geran-2 is no longer just a simple loitering munition. With Russia's significant upgrades, this drone has now become a multi-purpose platform and can be used for reconnaissance, precision strikes, or to deplete enemy air defenses. Greetings to you all. I'm Elias Farok. This is Persian Trend. And in this video, we want to go over the history of the Shahed-136 and Geran-2 drones together to see where they started, how they developed, and where they stand now, as well as how influential they could be in future wars. Let's start from Let's start at zero. The Shahed-136 is a drone that entered service in Iran in 2020. This drone features a simple design, is 3.5 meters long, 2.5 meters wide, and has delta-shaped wings. Its maximum weight is 240 kilograms, and it can carry a 50-kilogram warhead. Its body is made from a composite honeycomb structure, and it is powered by an MD 550 four-cylinder piston engine with 50 horsepower, which was originally designed in Germany and is now produced in China and Iran. It has a two-blade propeller. Its speed reaches up to 185 kilometers per hour, and its claimed range is up to 2,500 kilometers. However, during Operation True Promise on the night of April 13th to 14th, 2024, its 1,700-kilometer range was proven. Electronically, the Shahed-136 is not very complex. It has a GNSS navigation system and an inertial unit. Some sources say it might have an optical sensor or a radar receiver for greater accuracy. But these features have not been confirmed. In fact, this drone is more like an economical cruise missile than a precision-guided munition because it's only designed for fixed targets with pre-programmed coordinates. Its production cost is also extremely low, between $10,000 to $50,000 depending on whether you count the manufacturing cost or the sale price. Since September 2022, Iran has exported this drone to Russia. Russia acted very quickly and introduced the Geran-2 to the world by producing it under license. Now let's see what changes Russia made to this drone that caused so much buzz. Russia transformed the Geran-2 from a simple copy of the Shahed-136 into an advanced multi-purpose platform. Let's go through these improvements step by step. Item number 1, body structure and industrial production. The first major change is replacing the honeycomb structure with reinforced fiberglass or carbon fiber. This change made mass production at the Alabuga factory in Tatarstan easier. Russia's goal is to produce 6,000 Geran-2s by the summer of 2025, and currently they are producing 500 units per month. The officials have planned to increase this number to 1,500 units per month. The new body not only simplified production, but also reduced the drone's radar signature. Some have also been coated with black paint and radar-absorbing materials for night operations. The second point is advanced navigation. The Shahed-136 relied on civilian GPS, which could easily be jammed. Russia replaced this with the GLONASS system and the Comet-M module, which has 12 to 16 antennas, providing high resistance against electronic warfare. This system is also used in other drones like the 4-post-R and Orlan-10. The flight controller has also been upgraded with the Russian-made B101 model, which has significantly improved flight stability. The third point is the more powerful warheads. Russia has replaced the Shahed's 50-kilogram warhead with more advanced options. Since 2024, the Geran-2 has been equipped with the thermobaric and fragmentation warhead TBBC-H50, which is designed with 9mm fragments for destroying infrastructure and hardened targets. A new combined warhead called KOFZBCH has also been introduced, which weighs 90 kilograms and uses the explosive TGFC-5P2, a combination of TNT and RDX. This warhead is about twice as powerful as the standard warhead and is designed for heavy-duty missions. Item number 4 is electrical-optical sensors, or EO. One of the biggest upgrades is the addition of electrical-optical sensors. In October 2024, a video was released that was claimed to have been recorded by the Geran-2 during an offensive mission in Ukraine. Mr. Thakur, who is a military analyst, says that these sensors have both optical and thermal imaging, which allows operators to identify targets in real time. A specific model called the MS-236, with a range of 2,000 kilometers, the capability to fly for 12 hours, and a 4G modem with a Ukrainian SIM card, was also mentioned in leaked documents from Alabuga. These sensors were also seen on the Geran-2 during the 2024 exhibition at the St. Petersburg Technology Center. Board number 5. The communications are advanced. The Geran-2 is equipped with a 4G modem using a Ukrainian SIM card such as Kyivstar, which utilizes GSM networks for location tracking. This method has an accuracy of 200 meters in cities, but in rural areas, it can have an error margin of several kilometers. A number of Chinese and Russian communication modules have also been installed on this drone, enabling data and video transmission up to 250 kilometers. There are reports that some models use Starlink for video transmission or electromagnetic spectrum analysis. These systems are compatible with the set fan sector control station of the SuperCamp drone and can enable direct communication up to 100 or 200 kilometers. Item number 6, expensive 3, the jet-powered version. A more advanced version called Shahed-136 or Geran-3 has been developed with a Tolo 1013 turbojet engine. This model, with a speed of 515 to 600 kilometers per hour, a range of 2,500 kilometers, and stealth coding, was seen in Ukraine in December 2023 and April 2024. Geran-3 is probably designed for air defense suppression missions or attacking moving targets, but due to its high cost, about $1.4 million, its use is more limited. Now let's see what impact Geran-2 has had on the battlefield. Since October 2022, Russia has used more than 3,700 Geran-2 drones against Ukraine, and just in October 2024, over 2,023 units were launched, which is the highest monthly number. These drones have caused serious damage to critical infrastructure such as the power grid, military facilities, and even residential areas. But why is Geran-2 so dangerous? The first factor is its low cost. With a price of $20,000 to $80,000, the Geran-2 is much cheaper than cruise and ballistic missiles. In contrast, air defense missiles cost up to $1 million per shot. This means that even if Ukraine shoots down 50 to 85% of these drones, its missile stockpiles will still be depleted quickly. The next point is swarm attacks. The Russians deploy the Geran-2 in large groups, combining them with cruise and ballistic missiles to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses. This tactic confuses the defense systems and exposes their weaknesses. The next threat is real-time reconnaissance. AI-based reconnaissance allows the Russians to identify targets instantly and change the drone's flight paths. Even downed drones provide valuable information about the location of Ukraine's air defenses. The next threat is the new tactics used by these drones. In March 2025, a video showed that the Geran-2 is launched from mobile trucks, which reduces the vulnerability of the launchers. During the 2025 Victory Day parade in Albano, a mobile launcher mounted on a truck was also displayed, highlighting the Russians' emphasis on mobility and flexibility. On October 20th, 2024, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that these drones have become Russia's main tool of terror and that more than 6,000 units have been launched since the beginning of the year. These growing threats have forced Ukraine to respond. Of course, Ukraine has not remained idle on the other side either, and is responding to these threats with all its might. Let's go over a few examples of these efforts together. The first example is electronic warfare. Ukraine has developed advanced jamming systems like Pokrova, which disrupt the operation of GLONASS. Portable devices for jamming GPS and communication channels are also being used on the front lines. These systems have helped Ukraine to divert a significant percentage of the glide bombs. The second example is the Sting interceptor drone. A Ukrainian company has built an FPV drone called Sting, which is designed to intercept glide bombs. This quadcopter, with a speed of over 160 kilometers per hour, an operational altitude of 10,000 feet, thermal sensors, and an explosive payload, can shoot down enemy drones in the air. On May 19, 2025, Ukraine's Wild Bees unit shot down the first glide bomb with the Sting. The production cost of the Sting is much less than $20,000, making Ukraine's defense more economical. Item number 3, attacking the production infrastructure of these drones. Ukraine has attacked the production facilities of the glide bomb in Alabuga, Krasnodar, with Neptune missiles and drone strikes to disrupt Russia's supply chain. Nevertheless, the mass production of the glide bomb is still ongoing. Dead. Number 4 is active defense. Ukraine uses mobile radars, mobile fire teams, and developing laser weapons to shoot down the Geran-2. FPV drones are also used to intercept enemy drones. These systems have increased Ukraine's success rate, but the high volume of attacks remains a major challenge. Now let's take a step back and look at the geopolitical dimension of the Geran-2. The cooperation between Iran and Russia in developing this drone has not only changed the war in Ukraine, but has also disrupted global dynamics. Iran transferred the Shahed-136 technology to Russia, and the Alabuga factory was set up with the help of Iranian engineers. This cooperation has strengthened the relationship between the two countries and has turned into a strategic alliance against the West. But this is not just a military deal. Reports indicate that the West, especially the United States and the European Union, imposed new sanctions on Iranian companies and the Alabuga factory in 2024. These sanctions aim to disrupt the supply chain for parts, especially those coming from China. On the other hand, the Geran-2 position could pave the way for increased exports of Iranian drones to countries like Venezuela or proxy groups in the Middle East. This issue shifts the balance of power in sensitive regions and has caused concern in the West. Some even believe that this cooperation could turn into a new axis in future wars. Now let's take a look at the future. Recent reports show that the Russians are adding artificial intelligence to the Geran-2. Imagine a drone that can find its target on its own without needing constant communication with an operator. Machine learning algorithms allow the Geran-2 to automatically identify strategic targets such as infrastructure facilities or military vehicles. This technology increases the drone's resistance to jamming because it is no longer dependent on external signals, but it also has its limitations. These systems require high-quality training data, and there is a possibility of errors in target identification, especially in crowded environments. Compared to Western drones like the MQ-9, which have more advanced artificial intelligence, the Geran-2 is still simpler, but its lower cost makes it more economical. This technology could turn the Geran-2 into an even greater threat. The point is, the wars of the future will likely be fought only between algorithms. Up to this point in the video, we've talked a lot about the technical and military aspects of the Geran-2, but let's take a moment to look at the human impact of this drone. The Geran-2 has inflicted heavy damage on Ukraine's civilian infrastructure, such as the power grid, hospitals, and even residential areas. In the winter of 2024, Geran-2 attacks caused widespread power outages in Kyiv, leaving people without heating in the severe cold. Ukrainians have nicknamed the sound of the Geran-2's engine moped because it resembles the sound of a motorcycle. Imagine hearing this sound in the middle of the night and not knowing whether your home will be the next target. Reports speak of the psychological terror caused by these attacks. In October 2024, Zelensky said that these drones have become tools of terror. Ukraine has built underground shelters and developed early warning systems to protect civilians. But the psychological and economic pressure from these attacks remains high. This story shows that modern warfare isn't limited to the battlefield. It also changes people's everyday lives. The war in Ukraine is like an open book on the history of drone warfare. If we take a look back at the past, kamikaze drones are nothing new. In the 1980s, Israel developed the Harpy drone to suppress air defenses. ISIS also used simple drones for suicide attacks in Iraq and Syria. Geran-2 took these ideas and combined them with modern technology. Low cost, mass production, and combining them with cruise missiles is similar to the swarm tactics of World War II, but with today's precision. The war in Ukraine has turned into a laboratory for drone technologies. Geran-2 has shown that cheap drones can compete with expensive systems. But what lessons could these hold for the future of warfare? Should the world's militaries invest in cheap drones? One thing you should know about the future of the Geran-2 is the ideas the Russians are adding to this drone. The Russians are working on new ideas, such as adding decoys or Lüneburg lenses that increase the drone's radar signature to mislead Ukrainian air defense missiles. This strategy, known as air defense depletion or ADD, aims to deplete Ukraine's missile stockpiles more quickly. Artificial intelligence is also playing a bigger role in the game on the ground. Machine learning algorithms can turn these drones into more autonomous weapons that find targets without an operator. This could turn the war into a competition between algorithms. On the other hand, Ukraine is responding with Sting drones and electronic warfare systems. This arms race shows how cheap drones can change the dynamics of modern warfare. The story of the Geran-2 isn't just about its technology. It's an examination of how a drone can impact people's lives, global relations, and the future of warfare. This drone has shown that a $20,000 weapon can challenge multi-million-dollar missiles and have a very serious impact on the future of war. Now here's the million-dollar question. In your opinion, how long can these drones maintain their position in warfare and continue to be effective? Or, in the rivalry between fighter jets and drones, are drones the winners of this competition? I read all your comments and will respond to them as much as possible. Until the next video, take care.